When I started my business, I did pretty much everything I could to downplay just how much I cared about my business and about growing it, when it couldn't have been any further from the truth of what I really wanted. Because on the inside, I had really big business dreams. I wanted, at the time, as I used to say, to grow the biggest business ever, whatever that means. And as much as I cared about growing it, or at least I said that I cared about growing it, I filled my day with coffee chats. I overconsumed free content, and I pretty much doom scrolled on social media. And the funny thing is that at the end of the day, I called it all work. I was looking at content from other people who had businesses, or I was getting coffee with other people who had businesses. I was sort of stuck in a bit of a cycle that I see a lot of other people working their way through now. Maybe you, I'm not sure, you'll have to let me know. But it's when you're sort of swirling around in your business or swirling around in your content, it's not really going anywhere. Nobody's biting. Your audience isn't growing. People aren't really responding, but yet you keep pumping it out. What I eventually learned was I needed to stop waiting for success to come to me. I really had to get down to like the foundation of what was actually going to grow a successful business. Successful businesses make sales. And in order to make those sales, you have to have leads, and your leads have to be what we call qualified leads. Like they have to be people who need what you sell and have that problem, and your thing solves the problem and you're the person to solve that problem. It's not about creating a crap ton of content or about being in all places online at all times. It's about making sure that that stuff you are putting out is really good and actually speaks to those people and actually solves a problem that they have. To really like embody that mentality and then start actually building a successful business, I had to get clear on what exactly I wanted. I had to create more measurable goals, and I had to get really, really clear in my mind of what success looked like to me. There's no objectively right or one way of what success looks like, because really at the end of the day, all that matters is that you're building the kind of business that works for you and your lifestyle and your family and your goals. But first, you have to be very clear about your goals. I decided that I would stop the doom scrolling. I would stop sitting around. I definitely stopped going to the mall during the day. And instead, I started taking action. I started designing my day and saying yes and no to things that future me would and wouldn't do. Future proofing. It's the idea of starting to act now like what you want to become in the future. I think that you kind of have to do that version of dressing for the job you want with acting like the business owner for the business that you want. You really have to do in your business what you want ultimately to see in your business. I started thinking about how would the person who I say I want to become talk about her business. It wouldn't be the downplaying little business, because it's not going to be a little business. So I just started doing that now. You might be sitting here being like, I don't have anything right now, but you're headed there, right? So you've got to start to embody that mindset now. Respect your time, respect your worth. We have this way of counting ourselves out of things before they even start. Maybe you've dreamt about it happening, but you won't say it. You won't own it, that this is something that you really want, because you're afraid it's not going to happen. Instead of planning for things not to work out, I hope you take this as a sign that it's okay to claim what you really want. Just own that the business that you've just started, you hope it becomes something. It's okay to say you want it to be successful, or that you want it to be your full-time gig, or that you want more customers or followers. And it's also okay that you don't really know how that's going to happen yet. You just have a really clear picture of what you want to happen, and you start picturing that, and you just take little steps every day, little baby steps towards that vision of what you're trying to create. We've got to act like the business that we want to become before we actually become it. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Terms podcast. Make sure to follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. You can also check out all of our podcast episodes, show notes, links, and more at samvanderwielen.com/podcast. You can learn more about legally protecting your business and take my free legal workshop, 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business, at samvanderwielen.com. And to stay connected and follow along, follow me on Instagram at samvanderwielen and send me a DM to say hi.
Just remember that although I am an attorney, I am not your attorney, and I am not offering you legal advice in today's episode. This episode and all of my episodes are informational and educational only. It is not a substitute for seeking out your own advice from your own lawyer. And please keep in mind that I can't offer you legal advice. I don't ever offer any legal services, but I think I offer some pretty good information.